Posting on the internet is a mixed bag, as while there is a potential to strike it big, it's just as easy to catch the ire of many a person. With many voices talking at once and negativity always rearing its ugly head, sometimes you wonder if posting at all ever brought you joy. Meet Kevin Temmer, an industry animator that had a breakout animation on YouTube called What's the Matter Martha. While the 2-year anniversary crept up fast, it was rather a second animation that caused some light controversy on Twitter that still has some lasting effects to this day. Hello, I'm Daft Pina, and this is Kevin Temmer, Trash Hate. But before we get into the event this video is titled after, we must take a look at the who and why he is, starting with the when and where he was with his life before YouTube. Kevin Temmer, also known as Kevin Temmer, is a 29-year-old animator from Tampa, Florida. He's an artist, composer, singer, and songwriter that grew up on Nintendo games. While drawing Mario at a young age inspired him to draw, watching Disney, DreamWorks, and Blue Sky helped satiate that love of moving drawings. And moving 3D objects, of course.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of Blue Sky Studios, a company that will never be bought out and destroyed.
Ominous interjection aside, in 2011, he made an animation about a science fair for a high school project.
Well, you guys could hang with me a little longer and we could talk about test tube.
Taking 50 hours to complete this 15-minute video, an original song at the science fair, this was his first foray into online animation. Websites like National Geographic Kids, National Science Foundation, Knowledge Network, and even NASA themselves featured the animation on their websites respectively.
Yeah, who knew science could be fun outside of Breaking Bad? Cooking, math and there's a lot of hookers involved.
Even a local Fox News station talked about him with the help of his dad sending an email to the station. After graduating high school, he wanted to pursue higher education, attending Ringling College of Art and Design between 2011 and 2015 for a bachelor's degree. After graduating college, he had a long history of work in the industry in mostly every field you can imagine. These works include film, television, gaming both mobile and non-mobile, and even some elf greeting card animations from Jib Jab Media. Animating on such Blue Sky films like Ice Age Collision Course, Fern Dad, and Last We Spies in Disguise. He left the company after the merger, but before the closing of the studio entirely.
Damn it, I was just foreshadowing the fact that it was a company that will never be bought and destroyed. Who would do this? Oh yeah, Disney.
Oh, that was the thing he mentioned before in the video. After that, he worked at Sony Interactive Entertainment on the Avengers game and Concrete Genie, Lucas the Spider as a freelance writer, Jam City on 2 games including a Frozen Adventures mobile game, as well as a cancelled, then uncancelled video game called Wild Things, now on Netflix Games, which I often forget is a thing that exists, Netflix games. So that's not where he resides today. After finishing high school, he had really enjoyed Phineas and Ferb, proceeding to email one of the songwriters, Martin Olson. Having a few back and forths through his career in animation, one day he said to reach out to Justin Roiland. Now this isn't the Justin we know today of Rick and Morty, as well as Solar Opposites and MT fame. At this point, he was mainly known for his voice work as Earl of Lemongrab and Oscar from Fishhooks, if you remember that show. Sending an email many years ago, much in the case of Martin, they had it back and forth through the World Wide Web Information Superhighway, sending Justin Roiland some of his works, first applying to intern, not being accepted, then applying again. He now works at Squanch Games. Since it's a smaller studio, he has a lot more hands in many aspects of the gaming pie. Animation, video and audio editing, rigging, lighting, as well as sometimes marketing. His more notable works being the online shorts he animates, in which he's given lines from Justin and has mostly free range of the characters. With of course some notes here and there, I'd say it's a pretty good job. Good work.
It's a good thing to share your work out there. Don't be afraid to spread it around, because like I said before, the worst thing that happens is they either don't respond or they just say no.
With all this time being mostly taken up by corporate jobs, he also wanted an outlet to be more himself. And so in 2020, he created a channel called Kevin Temmer Tunes. And if you're liking this video so far, be sure to give it a fat like and handsome subscribe right now. Please, right now, immediately. Thanks. While The Science Siblings was his first channel, Kevin's Elmo videos started to get traction online. It was mainly just him and his puppet doing some funny skits here and there, starting back in 2013. The website Nerdier Times even wrote an article about his Neon Genesis Evangelion cover, though he had stopped making content on the channel in 2020, with it succumbing to YouTube Kids, meaning comments can no longer be had. It's always unfortunate to see. Just like how you forgot to tell me the Toma lights? Come on, they need to be on. However, he can do other impressions, such as Plankton, which he did in our Discord interview call.
Yeah, sure, I guess I could give it a shot, a secret formula.
Just as his Elmo channel ended, Kevin Temmer Tunes began late fall in 2020. Amongst his day jobs, Kevin had been making animations for this channel, combining his loves for Broadway and 3D animation into one. big. Some of his musical inspirations include Avenue Q, Hamilton, Book of Mormon, and many others. I'd say I'm a big musical fan as well. I even got this nice Beetlejuice fan arts from person at MomoCon 2022. It's neat. You can see it like right... Oh, you actually can't see it from this angle, so I'm gonna have to like cut to the B-roll that I already pointed out. Do you see it?
You know, they say if you speak his name 3 times, he shows up.
Beetlejuice?
No, Hamilton.
As for artistic inspirations, 90s and 2000s cartoons like Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, and SpongeBob helped shape his style, as well as Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs for his 3D works. And if you've been paying attention to the screen instead of drawing in another window, so please watch right now if you haven't already, you may notice that Kevin is a fan of puppets. Asking about preferences, if you either had a chance to work for the Muppets or Sesame Street, he'd say the former story-wise and the latter design-wise, as it's clear one's more for kids and the other, well, more adult. Some of his most recognized works on the platform are Somebody Else Start Living My Life and What's the Matter Martha, respectively.
Why, yes, I'd say I'm watching respectfully. They've been subscribing respectfully, too.
The former reached 70,000 likes on Twitter and over 1.4 million views on YouTube, while the latter got 33 likes on Twitter, 33,000 likes, with a K at the end, because K means 1,000, and 5.5 million views on YouTube.
What's the matter? What's the matter, Martha?
Eat you order 1 hot cup of malaise.
Despite working a day job, he's been quite frequent with these animations. Taking the brushing as a reference, Kevin thinks of an idea, this one based on an old British CD-ROM game called Big and Small House, plans it out, sees what he can reuse from other projects, then he models, rigs, animates, and lights it. Sometimes music and voices are provided by him, though in this case a royalty-free track was used. After finishing the animation, he posts it, and now it's time to work on a new animation.
Uh-oh, you found the toothpaste? Let's get one thing clear. I can brush my teeth all by myself, okay?
And that's for a smaller animation, as things like Somebody Else and Martha took quite a few months to make.
You know, I really do like the short ones because I do tend to get bored very quickly. So, you know, those longer ones are often murder for me because it's just, I just want to be done with it.
And Kevin has been using his channel as a nice dumping ground for both finished and behind the scenes works. While I would prefer to see his second channel for the behind the scenes stuff, it seems the numbers do not lie and his fans are happy to see both on the main channel, no matter what I would call clutter. And I don't like clutter. His current animations have even been recognized on Newgrounds as in April 2022, he had gotten on the front page, which is nice to see. But while not as popular as the previous animations mentioned, his Sun and Moon series gave him the idea to work with Makeshift, that being a website that offers plushes for online creators and creations. In fact, if you look to the right of me, I actually have a few over some creators. Even Pan, the person I'm co-hosting a podcast with. Go subscribe after you watch the video. But as it turned out, Kevin's Celestial Puppets didn't yield the results he wanted, as sadly it wasn't able to make its goal. You see on this website, they're limited edition, meaning if the funding is reached, all the people who ordered one gets one and no one else can. And a project like this can fail for a number of reasons. Maybe people didn't like the designs, maybe his audience wasn't interested, or perhaps it just wasn't the right time. Even after making a poll to his fans, he notes that that doesn't always translate to a real-world use case.
I often learn a lot more from my failures than from my success. It's still nice that I still got to keep the prototypes. I have them, they're sitting on my desk right now, so... Yeah, so, you know, I'm glad I gave it a shot because it was an exciting thing to try for sure. And maybe in the future I'll figure out how to be more successful with it.
This miscalculation, while out of his control, does lead us to an infamous animation of his. Rather not for anything obscene, gross, or even off on the slightest, but rather was something many would deem unfunny and cringe. Truly, a fate worse than death on this platform. Unlike me showing off my cats, Bear and Marvel, they're always nice to see. Meow. Back in May 2022, Kevin had the idea of making a song about a boy band made up of trash cans.
Part of me is also like, am I just adding fire to the flame on a website that already has so much toxicity and tension?
The whole joke was about how awful, bad, and, yeah, cringe your tweet was, as sung in a rendition inspired by likes at the Backstreet Boys and Fort Town from Turning Red. After months of work, on July 22nd, he released the video to the masses. Now, much like Somebody Else and Martha, this got popular fast, reaching over 86k likes on Twitter, 2.4 million views on YouTube, and even 160,286 streams on Spotify, thus making it his most listened to song on the platform.
You gotta delete that.
Everybody here agrees that what you said was just dead wrong. I'm begging on my hands and knees, but baby, you're so headstrong. You're so headstrong.
A day after uploading, he made a follow-up meme featuring the boy band talking about their song. And for extra lore, Kevin noted in reply that the hat guy is the one taking the picture. Neat. At first, people were loving the meme until it left. its target audience. And let me tell you, it went pretty downhill after that. With the meme spreading, a lot of people started to hate it for various reasons. Either from people posting in the replies or quotes of a tweet, even at one point someone condensing the song into less than a megabyte. The sort of quality reminds me of those hit clips from back in the day. Do you remember those? I don't. Within the following days, people thought the song was cringe and even wondered,
why would somebody waste their time making this?
The latter part reminds me of my Bendy Fan 2013 video covering an artist that only lasted a week on Twitter. I got a ton of comments whining about the fact that I made it and how it could have been summed up by a tweet, which is an odd statement, as that were the case, we'd have a lot less videos on the platform. And personally, I thought it was an interesting thing to cover, and so did a lot of comments. So the why would someone make this critique doesn't really make sense.
Is that even a critique? Sounds like someone bitching for no reason.
Well, sometimes. As sometimes it is a genuine question, and sometimes it's ironic kind of text. Though without tone in text, it's a bit of a Schrodinger's tweet sort of thing.
And you know, some of the comments were just straight up hateful. I don't know what you allow on your show or not, but people saying things like, you know, unaliving themselves if someone sent them that video.
Slowly over time, Kevin felt overwhelmed and felt like he was losing control, thus triggering his OCD, with him just wanting to make a fun animation, and it slowly turned out to be a negative endeavor with how people were abusing it, mentioning again how people would reply to others in sincerity regarding deleting a tweet, so Kevin panicked. As a way to control the situation, he started to block anyone and everyone who said negative stuff about the song. It had been affecting his mental health, and he told me something like this hasn't happened before with his online works. It came to a point where one of his friends DM'd him, asking what was wrong, as he had blocked a mutual friend. This had been a breaking point for him, as after they talked, he calmed down, and he had to rethink how he was going about things. So he took time to unblock everyone, and even address things on Twitter. But of course, this isn't the end-all be-all, as this is the internet. Kevin knows it's still tough at times, as it's not really something you can get over. Not only will the video exist online forever and ever until the day you die, but also there's a good chance you'll still see it in the comment section of tweets. Not forgetting there's a whole Twitter gimmick account used to seemingly annoy people on the platform.
What I was doing was incredibly dumb. I was letting this situation affect my mental health, affect my real life, which is, you know, bad. Like, you shouldn't do that. I thought, I can't control this situation. I need to just accept what it is. That made me feel a lot better. It made me feel like I had a bit of more power over the situation, because sort of, I guess, embracing the cringe, if you will, and just letting it be what it is.
All Kevin wanted to do was make a simple funny video, not wanting to divide, though even with all that happened, he did learn a lot from the situation. So let's see what we can gather from the aftermath. While Kevin had been making animations for the longest time, it was only more recently in the past 2 years did he have the public eye on him en masse. While working at a studio as a collective, with many gears turning in the machine to make the animation go bananas, with his personal works, he's on the forefront of people's minds. That means all success and blame will go to him rather than disperse to a studio.
What were they thinking?
Meaning they being a singular person and not they collective. But he goes by he him, so it should be.
What were he thinking?
Grammar mistakes aside that are left in the video, with the likes of the trash bins and even Martha, a lot of his thoughts and feelings were channeled into these 3D puppets, making them as personal as you can be, like a pan pizza designed for you. Now that's hot and fresh. However, what the industry does not prepare you for is the effect of posting works online. Feedback and criticism is there, of course, as working in the industry, changes have to be made here and there, as discussed in my Hell of a Boss video with Adam Nalen. Go watch that video when you can. It's an interesting story about fake abuse. But much like this drawing, let's circle back. You must understand and prepare for hate, as it will surely come. Being in passive-aggressive comments or straight up unalive yourself for making this animation. It can just take one thing for someone to hate you forever. Either in actions you do or have done, or I guess you just have a lot of followers. It will be in the back of people's minds and can affect the standing of how they discuss your future works. Depending on the perception of you, people often preface things before showing off something you made. I never seen this tweet about someone who laughed at a joke on my video, but they had to make sure to let everyone know they super hate me, and that I never need to make this video before showing a clip of them laughing and enjoying the video, even if a small part.
I never thought that I'd be living in a world where Daft Pina would call Charlie from Smiling Friends? Horny bait.
So don't attack this person on Twitter for tweeting their opinions, I just want to use it as a real example. Glad you liked the joke. So when you post and read the feedback, you must understand the difference in helpful and unhelpful criticism. People poo-pooing media, something natural, as riffing culture has always existed. With the advent of the information superhighway, it's never been easier to hurt the feelings of many a creator with just a few taps away. Though with everyone being able to post, it's not usually clear why people hate a thing. Or rather, they're just not good at articulating themselves. In the new Lord of the Rings show from Amazon, there was a CGI creature that many people said looked terrible.
Terrible. In what way this seems fine?
That's what I said. Is the lighting that's off? Maybe it doesn't look realistic in this live action show? Is it badly animated fundamentally? Is it not lore accurate? If it's the latter, that's not really bad CGI, that's just a bad adaptation. So when someone says,
The animation is bad.
it is a blanket term, as let me tell you, people don't know a lot about how stuff works. Such as when a hacker released footage of the GTA 6 beta, and people said,
Wow, really, dude? They worked on this for 10 years and this is the result? Pathetic.
someone even said that the visuals are the first thing you work on for a video game development. Whew, they got clowned super hard. Though you shouldn't conflate this as a, if you can't create, you can't critique. I'm rather saying you should be specific and less hyperbolic if you want to display your distaste in a way for people to respect it. So for Kevin, if people say the animation is bad without going into any detail, what can't he really work with? Is it actually badly animated, or is it just cringe and unfunny? If it's the latter two, that's not the animation being bad, is that you dislike the humor. But even with these comments, they will pile up and form a mob, so what is a creator to do with this knowledge? Especially when said wording probably has been said hundreds or even thousands of times over. Sometimes even days or months after the original upload has occurred, and people usually want a response. Though what that means and what their goalpost is obviously differs. You can make an apology or address things, and people can take it at less than face value, saying, he didn't really mean it. Usually for me, I prefer to someone to go into detail regarding things. So something like this, what was Kevin's crime that he committed to warrant a lot of hate? Making a cringy song? Truly a crime worth being put to death for.
I should know. I've made many a cringe, but hey, they can't kill what can just come back with a different email.
Often the case, you either need to ignore all the reactions or embrace it. Though with me saying this doesn't make it any easier to not respond. As the more you try to respond to every person, especially within the first 24 to 48 hours, not much will be accomplished. In fact, you can make things worse. But there's remembering that on average, people on Twitter will be purposely terrible if it means getting a bunch of likes. I once made a tweet about the Disney Twitter accounts not watching their own movies, and there was a discussion in the replies about Buck Cluck being a bad dad. In the heat of an argument between Scrat Stitch and your boy, Scrat said their dad is dead. And they got ratioed hard by Milf and Cookies, with them posting a picture of a 3D emoji sticking their tongue out at them. Even video download or commenting, same here, you're not special. So it's always best to take Twitter arguments and replies with a gallon of salt in terms of sincerity. But much in the case of his previous jobs, Kevin says he learns more from his failures than his successes. Such as when he went from film animation to mobile games, he much preferred that environment. While the former he had weeks on end perfecting one thing, the latter he had a lot more animation to work on with less focus on absolute perfection. Or even when working at Sony Interactive, he found he just doesn't like mocap and that perfecting realism just wasn't for him.
Yeah, such a huge learning experience for me, just learning about the industry, learning about what I wanted in a job and what I didn't want in a job, which I feel like is, if not as important, even more important, learning about the things you don't want to do so you can sort of steer yourself toward the things that you do want to do.
So with his future animations, he's opting to be more socially aware of how things are and how they can be interpreted in the future, as anyone and everyone has the possibility to spark massive interest out of nowhere, and understanding this should help for future projects. As for the musical numbers, we most likely won't see another one of those for some time, as those take a bit longer than shorter videos. But Kevin does prefer the much shorter ones, as they're able to keep his interest a lot more easily, such as his Glover animation, which even got an article written about it. He does have some future projects he wants to one day finish, such as Employers from Outer Space, as well as this unnamed animation he shared on Twitter, whatever it is. Though he's independent to the max, working all by himself, he has slowly tried to work with other people, noting one day he would love to make a musical and even a Kickstarter, though an idea is not there yet. With experiences such as the trash bins fresh in his mind, perhaps it was good he got a taste of what negativity might entail, as if his first drop of hate create was something not only personal, but also financial like a Kickstarter project, it could have deterred him from continuing said idea. Even past that, with his successes on the platform, will he fully go indie on his works? Well no, as not only is his current job giving him creative freedom, it's way nicer to get company to pay for health insurance, eye, and dental than paying out of pocket in America. Also, yeah, in America for some reason, eye and dental are separate, but that's a rant for another time and on this channel by someone more qualified that's not me. I'd say Kevin has hit the sweet spots of his creative endeavors, as it's not often we see popular 3D animators on YouTube, let alone someone who's able to get them out as quickly as Kevin can. And talking with him more on the matter, I asked about what it means to create, and even in dark times, how one can still find joy in creating art. He said this.
Find something you enjoy doing, to find joy in what you make and what you create. I think that's why we create. It's nice to make money and stuff, but we don't get into this field because we want to make a lot of money. We get into this field because we want to create something out of nothing. We want to create stories, characters, and all of that. So I think it's really important to always try to find that joy somewhere. If you can't find it in your day job, if you can find it in a hobby and making stuff on the side, you know, that's super important. Anytime I was going through a hard time at work and not feeling fulfilled in my day job, I would make my own things. And then I found my passion and fulfillment in that. So I think sometimes you have more power to find your own joy than you think you do. So I think it's just really important to remember that. Thank you.
Working in the industry can be a nice gig, and with all the trial and errors he went through, jumping from company to company, Kevin got valuable experience that he's happy to talk about. Being able to test out waters in movie, TV, and mobile, he found what he likes from the industry side while also having fun with his YouTube works. With his recent foray into online animation, he has a new frontier to work with, and much like trying out a new medium of animation, there's a lot to work through, as well as learn from. Maybe one day we'll see what a full musical from Kevin Temmer might be, but for now, we should just wait and see what he has next for his fans. Thank you to Zelda's JJ for voicing the video, as well as Kevin Temmer for letting me interview him. Thank you. It was great to have them on. And a special thank you to my patrons you can see on screen right now. If you want to be on this cool list, be sure to check out my Patreon, but you can also follow me on Twitter, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and join Ellis Marks and I's Discord for funny ha-has and hee-hees. That, or listen to the new Pizza Party podcast that I'm a co-host of. Wow. Until next time, thank you for watching, and please, don't forget to have fantastic.